Good afternoon.
Welcome back.
Yes, sorry we're late. We had a little situation with Sugar the dog.
We have a child for a kitten, and now we have a dog. Cool. No judgment. All right. You informed us that you moved to the U.S. last episode after not being protected by the people who were supposed to protect you. At least some of the people who weren't supposed to protect you. Bombshell that you left most of us with, and I think on behalf of most people who are listening now and hearing your story and still seeing the kind of person you turn out to be, we would like to say we are so sorry that that happened to you at such a young age so often, and we are grateful that you are still sane, to have such an amazing personality. Like, honestly, I had one two people stop me and they go, what, I didn't know that. I go, I didn't know either. They go, but isn't that your mom? I'm like, I know, but when you think you know somebody but you don't actually know, and then you don't understand why some people are the way they are, how they react to certain things in life, and then you have like moment like this and you talk and somebody tells their story, and it's just, it was a lot. Like I told you last time when you told me that, I was like, I need to go sit down and think and process it, and I did. And I'm like, she turned out to be amazing, whether it is because of that happened or because she wanted to make sure there was a positive impact. Like you said, this podcast is to help with that. So I'm gonna say we apologize for that it happened to you, and we are grateful that you're sharing your story, because it's opening a lot of eyes.
Well, that's the point of it. The whole reason for doing it. It's good for me for therapy to talk about it, to help process it. And every time I talk about it, I realize different things about the people that were in my life, as well as like why I made certain choices at a young age, or why I did certain things, because either I was rebelling or it was a reaction because it triggered something in me that I thought, oh, that's going to happen again. So I also had some people reach out, and what I shared one of them with you. I find fascinating is that people are reaching out to say, hey, I didn't go through exactly what you went through, but I've been going through trials as well, and it's just helping me to look at it in a more positive light, not to be so down and negative on myself or on the situation or whatever, because it's just more burden. And I learned, I guess, because of everything that I went through and all the ups and downs and moving about and different people, that just be happy through it, because I didn't need to be sad on top of everything else. Um, so yeah, I just try to stay positive no matter what goes on, and no matter what's life's throwing at you, because being negative and down and out is just another burden. So thank you for thanking me, but thank you for letting me share. For the people that are watching, I'm really appreciative of the comments and the feedback I'm getting back. I just hope that it helps anyone and anyone that's watching and listening.
I think it actually is.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's what it's all about. So today we were going to talk about how I got to Florida, huh?
Yeah,
So,
because your aunt is so amazing. You told her one
oh,
time and
thank
she's
goodness
like,
for her.
girl, we're
Yeah.
getting you out of there at all costs.
Yeah, and somebody asked me too about her. Well, unfortunately, she's no longer with us. She passed away 2 years ago. Um, and I think, part of me moving back to England when I did, we'll get to that part, but when I moved was to be closer to her and to spend some time with her, because she was my rock. I had that one person in my life that no matter what, any day, night, time, or day, whatever, I could call her and I knew. And, I want to encourage young people, if they are watching and if people are sharing, with kids and things, that you need to have a mentor. Everybody needs to have a mentor. You need to have someone that you can trust, that you can look up to, that you can talk to about stuff, and that they're going to give you good sound advice. Sometimes you don't like what they say. My aunt, oh yeah, there was sometimes something she'd say to me and I'd be like, I didn't like what she said, but kind of knew it was true. So, but yeah, having that person. And then most of my step parents are also, there's only one step parent that remains alive today. So yeah, there were some questions that were asked, and I just wanted to share that. So kind of out here by myself.
So you're a full adult, and now you don't have a mentor. So
Yeah.
now you are the mentor. Like,
Hopefully, I'm gonna pass it forward. Yeah. So when I back to Florida, when I moved to Florida, it was kind of a process. So my stepmom left me and my stepdad. Um, she knew what was going on, but she just said she had to go for her. She had to survive. She had to save herself
Right.
because he was abusive and he drank a lot, and it was very stressful. And she didn't feel like she had the means to be able to look after me. Even though when I was adopted finally by them legally, he was only a financial provider. On paper, he was never really my father. He was just kind of a financial provider. Um, and I kind of think down the road, some of the things that happened with him, I think in his mind, it made him not be such a bad guy by not being a father, that he wasn't on the paperwork. Because at one point he actually proposed to me. He wanted me to marry him. Yeah, it was weird. But anyway, so when she left, she said, later on in life, I found out she left because she said there was no way she could fight for me too, which I still struggle with today as a parent. I think um, no matter what, I would fight, and it disturbs me, it upsets me, but at the same time, I respect her for that. That was her choice. That was how she dealt with her situation in her life. I don't think I could leave a child behind in that situation, no matter what I would.
So is it like a postpartum that, I guess, in a mental version of it for her? And is it possible you think that she was not able, she could not fight for you like she wanted to because that could have endangered both of you at the same time or made it possibly worse than it turned out to be?
Maybe. I mean, I guess that's what she was thinking. I mean, he had all the money and the power. He was the boss, really. And she was just kind of, a common law wife. She was not really his, legal wife. So, I guess she had her reasons, and like I said, I had to accept those and live with those. But so she left, and then so he used to collect antique cars. My stepdad, he was an avid antique car collector.
Got money and a nice hobby.
Oh yeah, he had a very a lot of hobbies. But anyway, so the racing, he also raced cars when he was younger, and as he got older, he would race. And he had a racing team with some younger race drivers doing Formula 3. And at that point, I was probably 15 or so. And he was teaching me to drive, and of course, what kid doesn't love to drive, especially drive fast too? So I was all for that. I was like, yeah, let's go. So so I had driving lessons and racing lessons, and started racing myself. And so raced cars in England and in America, all over. And at the time, and we left England kind of under a stressful situation. It's some business deal that he did that went awry, and he just we left England, and we went to New York, and we drove from New York to Florida, and ended up in Sebring, Florida, which is where there's a racetrack, a 24-hour racetrack, and lived there. We bought a house there, and at this point, again, I think part of him not being a father, not being a parent, because of his troubles that he was going through, he ended up putting all of his businesses and all of the houses and everything in my name so that the people wouldn't be able to do anything with it. Anyway, so yeah, for a few years there, it was kind of stressful. I had to kind of be in charge of everything and run everything. By this point, I was probably 18 or 19.
So basically stripping away your youthful.
Oh yeah, I really, like, sleepovers didn't happen. I didn't go to the movies with friends. I remember the first time in Sebring, actually, that I brought a guy home, and I wanted to go out. This guy came to the house and asked my dad to take me out. Whew, yeah, when I got home that night, I got a cut hip for that. He let me go, but yeah, it wasn't pretty. So I never did that again.
To abuse you, but then when you're trying to be your appropriate age, live
Yeah,
life.
he didn't want me out and about, because I was supposed to be his possession, I guess.
Possession.
Yeah, but at the same time, he needed to look like he was doing the right thing. But so he let me go, but then it was like when I got home, it was
Jealousy consuming.
right. Yeah. So, so lived in Sebring, did some racing. Had lots of friends that we made there. And then, like I said, when my aunt helped me to move from there to Orlando, I was going to go back to school because my dad took me out of school when I was 16. He was like, "Oh, I'm going to teach you
Teach you the life,
right,
life
teach you
lessons.
stuff." Yeah.
I remember that.
So he wanted to teach me life lessons. So I went on this like crash course to get my diplomas and stuff from the school I was in. I was like, no, I want to go back to school. I'm going to go back and study and do whatever. And yeah, it didn't work out so good. Yeah, that didn't happen so good. I ended up meeting people and having fun and partying my life away.
Some people were acting their age and doing rebellious
Finally,
shit.
yeah. Finally started to act my age. But of course, by this point, I was already 19 or 20. So, yeah, I mean, when I let loose, I went off like a firecracker.
You like did 10 years worth of.
Yeah, I played catch up. So, yeah, there was lots of 3-4 day drug-induced, alcohol-induced, partying-induced recklessness that I just look back now and I think, wow,
What a time you had.
Well, yeah, at the time I didn't realize it, but I was just trying to push it underneath the rug, just kind of forget about it, not think about what had happened, not think about how I'd gotten, a coping mechanism, and not realizing, that what I was doing was just kind of trying to hide it all. I mean, I did talk about it with certain people. And from then people were saying, "Oh my God, you need to write a book. You got to tell people about this. It's crazy what you're going through." And it was. I met my first husband, got married, had ended up getting.
What age was this marriage?
21. Yeah, you're young and you think you're in love. I mean, at the
Just
time we were
being young for real at 21.
Yeah. And then, after all of that and got into some trouble there and ended up moving back to England when I was about 24, 25. Um, and
This with your husband?
No, by this point we had separated and gone our separate ways. And I wasn't speaking with my stepfather at this point. He had kind of cut me off. The only one that I was still talking to was my aunt in Switzerland. My stepmom I didn't speak to her for 10 years. Didn't have any contact, nothing once she left. I guess later on I found out that my stepfather was saying that she didn't want anything to do with me, but I guess she was reaching out and he was trying to keep the distance. So once again,
he was trying to be in full control.
And people were making choices for me. I wasn't able to build my own relationships and make my own decisions about it. So yeah, when I ended up moving back to England and I was like 24, so I decided I need to try to get my life together at that point because I had 4 or 5 years of just rebellion and trying to suppress everything that had gone on and the anger. I didn't realize it at the time, but I was really angry. I was at the tail end of it. I was just mad with everybody. At that point I was mad with God even. My step-parents were atheists, they didn't believe in God, but at a young age I was brought up to as a in a Christian household, and I just completely turned away from that as well. It wasn't until my first husband and I had gotten into some trouble, and his dad said, "If you guys want to be able to live a normal life, you better turn back to Christ." And that was a turning point for me. From then, I never really looked back. I was like, that I've got to find something else to have hope and belief and trust in. So I kind of cleaned up my act, got a bit sober.
A bit sober, a bit, not too much, just a little bit.
Cleaned up my act a bit and tried to have somewhat of a normal life.
So when you lived with them, did you practice atheism, or is it just like because you was a child, it didn't really matter to you? You just knew you were trying to survive another day.
Yeah, you just do what they do. So
right.
We didn't go to church. We didn't read the Bible. We didn't pray. We didn't. To some degree, it was almost like they mocked people who did they call them Bible thumpers and things like that.
Right.
They were really like not um, really at all believers. So
Because I was
yeah.
gonna ask, so did you believe in spirituality? Did they believe in anything or science actually?
Um,
Because normally people who don't believe in Christ, they say they're
yeah.
atheists, but they more believe in science.
I think so. My stepdad was definitely he believed in science. My
I
step,
like that
I
kind of
think,
guy.
yeah, I think my stepmom probably had some foundation. So when she left him, she also turned to the church and is
Okay.
still very much involved in the church today. So I think she had it, but it wasn't practiced when she was living with us. You know, for those 5 or 6 years when we were living together. There was never any talk of it or anything like that. So you just, yeah, it was just like
Non-existent.
just non-existent. Like there was, I don't know. You just there's no, there's nothing. There's an emptiness. You know, it's not like when you do have Christ in your life that you have that feeling of being fulfilled and full, and it's like you have somewhere to always turn to have hope, to have peace, to that just isn't there. You're just making motions. You're just going through life.
Makes sense. Quick question for you. Just need to backtrack a little bit with the race car driving. So you you raced in England, did it in the U.S., and then when you went back to England, did you? Because you got married, you did never went back to it.
No, no, never
What made
went
you
back.
stop? Like what?
Oh, it's a very expensive hobby. It's
You
not.
know,
I didn't
yeah.
have the money for that. And my stepfather too. When I became estranged from him, when I
Right.
cut ties with him, he was, the force behind it. He was the one who had the race cars and everything, and I kind of walked away from everything. The houses, the cars, the money, the lifestyle. It's just like I'm done. I didn't want to be a part of it anymore, so I just kind of walked away and I started making my own life.
Do you sometimes miss it, and sometimes you have you ever thought, hey, I should have continued this because I did like it
No.
in that time?
No,
No.
no,
Oh,
no,
oh.
no, no.
You know, being young and rebellious and need to let out some anger. Like I figure race car would be like,
No,
let
no,
it all
never,
out.
never really felt the need to go back to it. You just move on, don't you?
Yeah.
Life takes you down another path, and you just end up moving on, going in another direction. So that was what happened.
Well, it's hot.
Yeah, it's been a lot. It's been a lot.
And you're only at 24 now when you're back in England?
Yeah.
From what? To 24.
Yeah.
And now you're 52?
Yes. Thanks for reminding everybody.
No, because it's like so much has happened from birth to 24 years old, you know, and then and like that's so much negative and so much obstacles and so much things that's supposed to make you so bitter and angry and just not a positive contribution to society. And like now at 52 and people who know you and interact with you can say like, I would have never thought all this has happened to her. You
Yeah,
know?
I always, I guess it started from my dad in Toulouse. He always gave back. He was always a part of, doing well, and that's what they say. Like your foundation years is what sticks with you. And I think thank God for him, because if it wasn't for him, I don't think I would have turned out to be the person that I am today. I had that foundation of enjoying the outdoors and recreating life and planting and growing and um, in a kind of sort of spiritual way,
Right.
And I think if I hadn't had that foundation, I think I would have been a different person. I'm almost certain I would have been.
Yeah, you
I
wearing
always
this
turn
hat.
back to that.
You wearing this hat today look like you're supposed to be on the beach somewhere.
Yeah, I always turn back to that. I always, like to get my feet in the sand and my hands dirty and to try to give back, because, without giving back, you're just a taker. And I've had enough people take from me in my life that I don't want to be that person. I want to try and give back wherever I can and be able to help others. You never know that one person that might save a life. Might be
Matter of
that.
fact.
Yeah.
Okay, and as we wrap up,
Mhm.
you said reason we did not get to meet our deadline of Thursday, making sure that the video was set up, was because of the dog. What is going on?
So Sugar got, she had a uterus infection, and she had to have all of her lady parts taken out in a bit of an emergency surgery. So that's what we were doing yesterday, and leading up to that, during the week she's been unwell and on antibiotics, and just trying to look after her and keep her well. So she's doing better. She's a bit sore now, but thanks to Dr. Bailey and Shamara for getting her all looked after. They said it was pretty bad. It was all infected inside, which is something I didn't know, that basically when the dog goes in heat, they can get unwell from bacteria getting inside of them. And I guess it happens.
We learned a lot about humans, and apparently now we're learning a lot about dogs. Child for a kitten, now a dog in the nation. But it's nice to know that she's recovering slowly but steady.
Yep, so. She's doing much better. So yeah, well, thanks everybody for listening for this episode. We hope you've enjoyed it. We hope that you stay well, and we'll see you next week. Hopefully
see you next week on time this time. Enjoy, everyone.
Bye.